The European Union is for me not Europe. Europe is much larger than that. Europe is what was a history, what we had always, and what was the most interesting common space of common ground from these where we share the same values and the same space, and the most fundamental values of life is not only culture or education, it's also the most fundamental elements of life is water that we have to share and that we have to protect in our common space. That's what was decided after the war to create the Council of Europe. And the Council of Europe, who is defending the minorities, defending the identities and languages. As you look to this Council of Europe, we will have the 60th anniversary in 2014, and Belgium is on the cultural values of the Council of Europe, who were fundamentally settled in 1954, 60 years ago. We have there, if I am not wrong, 47 countries. 47 countries. So Europe is also Kiev. And in Europe we have today a civil war. So Europe is also Turkey, is also Russia. And maybe the most cosmopolitan museum of Europe is today the Hermitage. So for me, in a certain way, if you look to identities and cities, Kiev, St. Petersburg, Moscow, Istanbul are European cities. The passion of Europe today, if you look around with the populist parties, they are very good narrators. And that's an element we miss, is the passion and the vision of Europe. And you see Le Pen in France, or you see nationalist parties, they're very well orators. They are really passionate. And the other classical technocratic politicians, they don't have this passion. And that's the only danger. There's always people are looking to leaders. And so that's very simple. I see it in my country. We have today the most populist party is because the guy is brilliant and he can give some answers, but maybe not the right answers. But he has answers. And the guy, the most anti-political, anti-European guy in the European Union Parliament, in the European Parliament, is a very, very, very strong personality. So we need new leaders who have, again, the passion, who can, again, speak to the people. And that's something you need, the intellectual background, the education and so on, and the right answers, and the freedom of speech and the element of debate. But when I organize debates at Beaux-Arts, we will do it next week in November 2014, and we did it last year in November 13 with 10,000 people. And when I saw the leaders, the more populist leaders, they are so strong. They are so strong. So it's very simple. We need people like Jacques Delors or Kohl or Willy Brandt, people who were famous people we know from de Gaulle after the Second War, from left and right. But people who want to build something in a democratic society. So that's the element, I think, the most element to populism. The voice, having strong voices, and also strong people, writers who stand up, because people who have Umberto Eco, for example, in Italy, in the 70s, 80s, there were people who did television shows. But now a television show, you have no strong intellectuals on a television platform. So you need, again, in the new media, to have strong people and strong leaders. Creativity is coming back sometimes in the most difficult crises. How people create, and you see it in UK, when Thatcher came on power, and she was taking responsibility. You like or you don't like it. It was in a form of neoliberalism against unions to give again power to the citizens. And that's a problem in our society, again, between Catholics and Protestants in Europe. The Protestants' tradition of what we have in our historical back is a more individual approach. you as an individual, you can take responsibility. And our more common tradition for Portugal, Spain, Belgium and so on is more the democratic element of the parliament. And we share our taxes, and then there is a common ground and common solidarity in social security, education and so on. But the system has to work. And that's important that the politician gives, again, ethical values to that the system works, that the trains comes in time, that there is a public transport, there is good working hospitals, and that's also a very fundamental element of solidarity. And that's important also in the way of the labor, and not only the capital. And in 50 years we doubled the numbers on this planet from 3 to 6, 7 billion people. So we need a way of living together. It's fundamental, the respect we have to each other, but we can certainly and certainly Europe can be on a sustainable planet, on the protecting of the planet. So we are in the transition of not the best way of managing things. Because we say you have to do it so, but it's not for everybody the same. You know it for your own children. Each child is different. And they have to respect each other. They have not to love, but to respect. So we have to live together, not as lovers all over Europe, but respecting each other.